In 2016, when Trump won the first time, there were many people in his administration which had been in government previously, right? And many of them were Republicans. Almost all of them were Republicans, in fact. But they were more familiar with the law, more familiar with our institutions, more familiar with process and how stuff works. And so on some issues, there were some guardrails around him, people who provided guardrails, right? They weren't just yes men. They weren't just sycophants. They weren't just loyalists. When Trump very famously asked, hey, why can't we shoot these George Floyd protesters in the leg? The generals were like, we're not doing that. They also said, we're not using the Insurrection Act. We're not deploying our own military in our own streets. That's crazy. But now, as you all know, it's not the first term anymore. And Trump is the entire way he's staffing his administration is who will be a yes man. Why do you think an alcoholic sexual abuser with a Crusader tattoo who was a weekend Fox News host, why do you think that person is now Secretary of Defense? Because that person will never say no to Trump about anything, ever. Has no mind of their own, no independent thoughts, right? And just, yes, sir, whatever you say. This is the strategy. This is the playbook for the entire administration, right? And you know what's no different? His VP choice. Mike Pence, for all of his flaws, and he has many, he's an evangelical, super far right-winger, but there's one thing he wouldn't do. I'm not going to destroy American democracy to try to keep you in power, sir, right? Well, now he picked J.D. Vance. Why did he pick J.D. Vance? Because J.D. Vance used to be anti-Trump and now is thoroughly cucked to Trump and knows, hey, this is a yes man, right? So Donald Trump didn't say a fucking word on the campaign trail about Panama or Greenland, right? Nothing. Didn't come up, not once, because that's not a fucking issue. It's not an issue. Well, now, since he's been elected, all of a sudden, he's warmongering about Panama. He's warmongering about Greenland and Denmark. So here is J.D. Vance running cover for the psychotic imperialism of his boss. Here we go. Ready?
The president has so many bold ideas from the possibility of
bold ideas. The president has so many bold ideas. And the bold idea is imperialism.
acquiring Greenland, putting up this Iron Dome in America, taking back the Panama Canal, renaming the Gulf to the Gulf of America. Do you expect the U.S. to acquire Greenland?
I think it's possible, Maria. So here's the thing that I think a lot of folks don't appreciate about Greenland. It's really important to our national security. There are sea lanes there that the Chinese use, that the Russians use, that frankly, Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
That's fucking rich. Illegally stealing Greenland is putting the interests of the American people first. Excuse you? Excuse you. How the fuck does that put the interests of the American people first? You know what put the interests of the American people first? Medicare for all. Why don't you give everybody health care? Higher wages. Why don't you pass higher minimum wage bill? The PRO Act to make sure that Americans can join a union. Why don't you pass that? You want to put Americans first? That's how you put Americans first. Stealing Greenland is going to help put Americans first. By the way, I'll tell you the real reason why they want Greenland in just a second.
Another angle to this whole Greenland thing, Maria, that people don't realize. You've got probably 55,000 people living on Greenland who are not actually happy with Danish government.
6% of people in Greenland want to join the U.S. 6%.
They've got great natural resources there.
Now we're getting to the truth. Oh, they got natural resources. We want them.
An incredibly bountiful country that the Danes aren't letting them develop and explore. Of course, Donald Trump would take a different approach if he was the leader of Greenland.
The real reason they want Greenland, and we discussed this the other day, you could go watch the full segment. It's titled like the dark reason Trump wants Greenland. It's titled something like that. Is because Peter Thiel basically wants his own nation state. Peter Thiel is one of the robber baron donors to Trump. Peter Thiel is also, he basically created J.D. Vance in a lab to be his plaything and a politician who represents his interest. They are all devotees of this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who believes in the Dark Enlightenment. He believes in this idea, RAGE, R-A-G-E, retire all government employees. He believes we should have more of a monarchy, and we should have a version of corporate feudalism where CEOs have their own little fiefdoms where they can control everybody in an authoritarian dictatorship kind of way. And they want to have Greenland to experiment with their own nation state. And you had a company, which is tied to Peter Thiel, admit that the other day when the choice for ambassador to Denmark was picked. And of course, Denmark owns Greenland, right? They said all's according to plan. I believe Praxis, I think, was the name of the company that's involved in this dark, evil plan. So what we're looking at here, guys, is the president of the United States trying to do rank imperialism and steal Greenland for a corporate robber baron donor so he can have it. And here's J.D. Vance defending all of it. Let me ask you a question. Do you think J.D. Vance ever thought about this issue or cared about this issue even once before Trump brought it up? No. Same with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz never once thought, yeah, the U.S. should do a new manifest destiny and steal Greenland. Was that something that was on the top of Ted Cruz's mind? No. But now that Trump said it, and now that their donors are calling for it, boom, snaps right into line, totally defends every step of the way what Trump wants to do. And here's the thing, guys. We no longer live in a world where it's like, well, look, if somebody goes too far, even their own party will buck them and call them out, right? Like if Trump goes too far, of course, people in the party will be like, hey, let's reel it in. This is bad and wrong. They're terrified. They're not even doing that. It wouldn't matter what he said, bro. It wouldn't matter what he said. He said he wants to do tariffs on the EU. Speed running the Chinese takeover of the world, right? Did anybody object? Did anybody say anything? No. Wants to attack Panama and steal the Panama Canal. Did anybody object? No. All right? Come up with something. Make something up in your own mind. We're going to nuke Australia, right? You think they wouldn't, well, you know, hey, Dad, he's got a point. There's some interesting reasons why you might want to do that. Like anything, bro, anything, they will do it. They will do it. Because he says it, Trump, and also Peter Thiel and their robber baron owners want it. Whatever they want, they will get. This is what we're witnessing in real time. And again, it's above and beyond anything I've ever seen. So this is one example of him just defending imperialism, right? To cuck himself to his daddy. Also, guess what? The whole tariff fiasco that happened the other day, guess who was there to defend it? Say Trump's brilliant for doing it. Trump caused the problem, said 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and if they retaliate, it's going to go up to 50%. Caused the problem. Markets tank colossally. Then he says, oh, I'm meeting with Mexico and Canada. He says, oh, we made a deal with Mexico. They're going to put 10,000 troops on the border, and we're going to hold off on the tariffs for a month. Boom. Markets can rebound a little bit because the fear is not there anymore at this moment for tariffs with Mexico, which would be abysmal, would be a disaster, would destroy the economy, right? And he's like, look at how brilliant Donald Trump is making all these, look at what he was able to accomplish by causing a problem and then at the last minute pulling away. Now, meanwhile, what's the reality? Trump put out there as, oh, the big concession I got was Mexico's going to send 10,000 troops to the border to stop the drugs and the immigrants. Now, number one, the drugs are not coming through the border like that. They come through ports of entry, mostly delivered by Americans. That's how the fentanyl's coming in this country, right? So it's a virtue signal, total nonsense bullshit idea, right? But beyond that, look at this. Joe Biden orders immigration crackdown. Mexico sends 10,000 troops to the border. This was in April of 2021. This is what happened. So Joe Biden did not cause an economic crisis, did not cause the market to tank, and was able to get the same result of 10,000 Mexican troops on the border. Now, is J.D. Vance going to tell you that? No, he's not going to tell you that. He's going to hide it. And he's going to defend Trump no matter what the hell happens. And by the way, there's speculation, and I think it's reasonable, that the attempt to make the market plummet over the tariffs may have been a plan so Trump and his robber baron investors could have bet on the stock market to fall and make a couple extra billion like that in the course of one day. And that's what happened, right? By the way, one more thing. Ready? As J.D. Vance is defending Trump, acting like the tariff thing was brilliant. Ready? MAGA is also omitting the fact that Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, secured a commitment from Trump to crack down on American gun traffic into Mexico. So he gave something up, right? Now, he didn't mention that. He didn't mention that in his announcement. But he said, okay, yeah, we'll make sure the illegal guns are not getting to Mexico. Moreover, AMLO deployed 15,000 National Guardsmen to the U.S.-Mexico border in 2019, and drug traffic continued to rise. So again, that's not the thing that's going to stop the drug traffic. This is all a virtue signal. It was all, they played you. And J.D. Vance is never going to tell you that. He's going to pray, oh, what brilliant President Trump causing a crisis and at the last minute backing away from the ledge. What amazing. Brilliant President Trump saying, let's go back to 1800 style imperialism and steal Greenland and Panama. Brilliant. Amazing. Delivering for the American people. Liar. These people are liars. And he's smart enough to know he's lying. Makes it even worse. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.